today's pretty much review. I'm gonna do some little review and all of that. So let's start. So as I taught a little bit in the last class, we have the sine, cosine, and tangent ratios being SPECTATOR, and that being SPECTATOR. Right? So we have all of this, and now they just wrote it all out for us, and they gave us a triangle to see all of that, and basically we can now solve a right triangle no matter what we're missing, as long as we have two sides or a side and an angle or such thing like that. So let's go ahead and try our skills. So first we have a triangle of A, B, C. That was a little. Okay, well okay, so this angle is our B. And if you don't remember, the corresponding side to this angle B is the side little b, which is little b. Okay, that looks pretty horrible. Little b. And now we're gonna go ahead and see A. So this one doesn't look like 18.6, so we'll do this as A. And this side is A. So this angle is 18.6, and we already know this is 90. So we have B, which is we also have B, which is 11.3. And now basically we have to solve the triangle. So usually when they ask you to solve the triangle, you have to find every single value. So I'm asked to find angle C and side C. So first, let's I personally I like to list them out. So first we'll have angle A, angle B, angle C. We're gonna write that, and then A, B, C. Right? So now our angle A, we already knew it was 18.6 degrees. Angle B was 90 degrees, and side B is 11.3 cm. So now, to find angle A, well, to find the side A, we basically have to do, let's see what we have. Okay, so we will use sine law, because we have the opposite. So sine of 18.6 degrees is equal to our side A, which is opposite, over hypotenuse, which is side B, so that's 11.3. Right? So now get out your calculator, and I'm gonna get my own calculator. So alright. So let's go ahead and calculate so if you don't know how to do this, just 11.3 multiplied by that number. So sine of 18.6 degrees multiplied, which is 0.3189593.093, a small number. Don't round it, directly multiply that by 11.3. That will give us A. So my answer is 3.6. Right? If your answers is different, check what you did wrong. Let's go ahead and find C. So since we already have A and B, we kind of don't need to go through the sine law or use a ratio anymore. All we have to do is just use the Pythagorean theorem. So let's go ahead and do 11.3 squared. Remember, that is a hypotenuse, so we have to minus 3.6 squared. So minus 3.6 squared. And that is going to give us 114.73. What do? We're going to go ahead and square that number, and we're going to get 10.7. 10.71. 10. Why am I not writing again? 10.7 cm. And now all we need is angle C. So angle C, we don't have to do anything basically. We just have to do. We already know that 180 minus 18.6 minus 90. 180 minus 90 minus 18.6, and basically that will give you 71.4 degrees. So there are a lot of ways we could solve this triangle, but usually by doing the Pythagoras theorem and doing the inner angle formula, we're trying to keep it at the most simple part. Let's go ahead and do this question. So we're gonna solve another right triangle. So in D, E, F, we have another angle here. This is E. So this side is small e. And we have, okay, so it doesn't really matter which side we put on. I'll just put this as D, and then I'll put this as F. So now let's go ahead and do this. E, D, F, angle E, go D, go F. Right? So now, our E, which was given above, oh wait, no, it's not given above. F is given above, 6.5, and so is D. Right away, we can do Pythagoras theorem. We know that E is the hypotenuse, so 7.4 squared plus 6.5 squared. It's going to go ahead and get you 97.01. We're going to go ahead and square root that. It's going to get you 99.8. Right? So that's going to be that. Wait, 9.849. Okay, sure. And then let's do angle E, which is going to be, we can use pretty much, oh wait, angle E is given 90. So now to find, let's say, angle F, we can just pretty much use, let's do cosine law. So cos of angle E is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, so equals D over E. Now D was 7.4 and E was 9.8. However, E was the value that we calculated ourselves. And many times, your teacher do not like you to do that. Most of the time, your teacher would want you to go ahead and use something like, they want you to use tangent. Why? You'll understand. So, because if you use tangent, you're going to deal with opposite over adjacent, which is F over D, which are the two given values. Because when you round, it's always not going to be so accurate. So we're actually going to use tangent in this case. 6.5 divided by 7.4. And then we're going to inverse tan that answer. That's going to go ahead and give us a degree. Should be 6.5 divided by 7.4. Inverse tangent of answer, which is gonna give us, oh wait, that was in radians. So okay, see, I made a mistake because my calculator was in radians. Not good, not good. So if you are using, if you're in Canada, I assume most of us will have a Casio, and then one of the most popular ones is FX991. So usually for your calculators, I want to say something. You should go ahead and go into mode and setup, and just try to explore it, see what you can do, see what's going on, and then basically that is pretty much. So when you're trying to switch it back to into degrees, you're going to go ahead and press shift and then press the mode setup button, and then you're going to go ahead and press degrees. And now if you do it and be like, oh look, let's do 7.4 over 6.5, 7.4 over 6.5, and then we're going to inverse tan that. It's going to give you a different answer. So that's going to go ahead and give us the answer to be 48.7, right? This angle is going to be 48.7. So small f is going to be 48.7. And then obviously we had E, 90. So 180 minus 90. So 90 minus 48.7 is going to go ahead and give us 41.3. right? And then E was 9.8, and then D was 7.4. And therefore, we have solved the entire triangle. Should be pretty easy. Always draw it out, and then you can apply all your knowledge on there. And then now let's get into some word problems. So one of the things, the most tricky things with trigonometry is that word problems are very confusing. And it's not that the word problem and the math is confusing. It's a setup. So it's a wording. So we have this cathedral groove on Vancouver Island. It's a rainforest of firs and western red cedars. From a point 40 meters from the foot of one cedar, the angle of elevation to the top is 6.5%. 65 degrees. So I want to spend a quick second to talk about angle of elevation. Many people would be like, hey, look, if I had a perpendicular, and this should be my angle of elevation, which is actually wrong. So basically you're gonna stand here and you're gonna raise your arm up, and I know it might resemble some sort of old Germany stuff, but please guys. So this is actually your angle of elevation. So when you're standing on a surface, you're gonna raise your hand up and be like, oh look, this is going to be the ground or the perpendicular, and then you're gonna be like, this is the angle of elevation, and this is the angle of deflation. And so if you look at this, this is a Z pattern. So technically, these two angles will always be equal. Okay, I just wanted to keep in mind of that. So let's go ahead and draw this question. From a point 40 meters of the foot of one cedar. So this is 40. The angle of elevation to the top is 65%. 65 degrees. Since we assume this western red cedar is straight, so we're gonna draw this. Oh my god. So we're gonna try to find this. This is our x here. And this was 65 degrees. This is 40 meters, right? So we have the complete setup. So how do we find x? Well, we're gonna try to use one of the SPECTATOR that we see. So we have the we want to find the opposite while we have the adjacent. So what does that mean? Tangent. So tan of 45 degrees is equal to opposite over adjacent, x over 40. So now basically move the 40 on this side and times tan 45 degrees. So let's go ahead and do that. Tangent of 45 degrees is going to be 1, right? And then we're going to times 40, which is 40. So x technically in this case should be 40. Or is it? Sorry, not tangent 45, tangent 65. What was I thinking? Because my handwriting is a little bit bad. Because I thought it shouldn't be that easy, which I was right. Sorry guys. So tangent 65 degrees is gonna go ahead and give us 2.144 something, and then we're gonna multiply that by 40. 85. 85.78. So we're gonna round that. So remember, you round that by putting that little circle on top or the little dot, or you draw the curly bracket and be like, this is 86 meters. They're rounding to the nearest meter. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and write the conclusion statement and be like, the height of the star is 86, approximately 86 meters. You have to write the approximate. So that is pretty much it. And then let's move on to this. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about question 4. So I already started a little bit, and I want you to understand my steps first. So first we have the radius. That's 6,380, right? So, oh, why does it have a shade? Okay, right. So we had 6,380. So 6,380, because this is also the radius. So technically this is 6,380 as well. So we're gonna go ahead and use this rule. So we had 35 here, right? So 35 here, we're gonna use this rule of the Z pattern. So this is also 35 degrees. So now we're gonna find x. That's gonna use the cosine law, right? Already. So we will have adjacent over 6,380, and that is gonna go ahead and give us around 5,226. 5,226. Wow, my writing looks so wicked. Right? 5,226. So however, they want us to find the entire length of this parallel. So what he means is that we're actually going to go around the Earth. And then in this line, we're going to see. So how do we find the circumference? Well, 2 pi r, right? So 5,226 times 2 pi. That's going to go ahead and get us 32840. And that is our full length. So I'm actually going to skip this question because I thought it was hard, but then I was reading it because I paused a little bit, and then I was like, hey, you know what? This question isn't that confusing. So I want you to actually go try this on your own. And I'm going to tell you the answer. The height of the pillar, it's actually 9.8 meters. So I want you to go ahead and prove that, and then go work on these word problems. So I only want you to do 16 and 920. Everything before it, it's optional, but I recommend it, but it's optional. So go ahead, have fun.